All right, y'all. So I've been doing quite a bit this week. I finally got these little corner brackets all nickel plated. Got the headlight parts plated. As you saw in my last video, I finally got both of these little internal rings plated. That's the spot I mentioned I had to make a little clip to repair where it was broken. Still working on these strap hinges, but I'm wanting to get these headlight buckets put back together. Here's another thing. I want to have these chrome looking. They of course mount up on top of the headlights here, but I'm not happy with this Revel chrome spray. It just dulls really quick, just like all the rest. You can see it's going gray. So I'm just going to go back like they originally were, the same color as the truck. I wanted to show you the difference. I already took a Scotch-Brite and scratched this one up real good, and I'm going to do the same thing to this one before I spray them. Let's see here. Oh, let me show you something else kind of neat. I pulled some of those bolts out of the fire from where I'd burnt the parts from the bed. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but this is an original bolt from 1950s. You can tell because of the square head and square nut. And it's got a red hue to it, so this is one of the original bolts from the truck. And I'm starting to think this truck used to be a fire engine. And it was originally red. I found a red spot there on the frame. So I'm going to go back red because I think I like that color. And when I do the truck, I found a picture of a fire engine, I believe in Europe. I think it's an F20, but it looks very similar. I think I can go with that type of paint scheme. Here in the South, it can get hot in the summer, really hot, and that truck doesn't have air conditioning, so I think I can go red on the bottom with a white roof, and that should help keep from getting too sweltering hot in there. But I'm gonna get you set up, and I'm gonna go to getting these sprayed with the red paint I got mixed up. I may have to spray these again when I go to paint the rest of the truck just to make them match, but I really kind of want to get an idea of what they're going to look like, all dressed up and pretty, and I really want to put them back on the truck. I went ahead and got these all, well, they're drying, I can't touch them right now, but I put the black silicone gasket sealer around them, and I smoothed it out with some silicone spray like Armor All. After I sanded off all the old paint and got the edges smoothed out just to fill in the cracks. My experiment worked on that, so I went ahead and did both of them. So once those are good and dry, they'll be ready to go back on. So I'm down to getting these buckets cleaned up and painted, and I'll be ready to put them back together. I got brand new headlights sitting over here. They've collected some dust, but I'm gonna get them redone. So let me get the spray gun all set up. I'll get that other marker light Scotch-Brited, and then we'll get these sprayed. Alright, y'all. Paint's gotten tacky. It's just sticky, leaves a fingerprint but doesn't stick to my fingers, which means it's time for coat 2. let's hop to it. It's time to get these put together. I've already gotten started with some of the fiddlier bits that are harder to do on camera, like putting this ring in. These little adjuster screws are a bit of a pain in the neck, along with hooking the spring up. And I got these sockets remounted in here for the little marker lights that go on top. And so I just got the glass lenses cleaned up. I got my handy dandy gaskets here that I've made for these, brand new out of the TPU. Now, so here somewhere I got that new headlight ring gasket I made. There it is. For holding in the bulb. There's that new gasket. There's one of the old ones. Now, the only difference is mine isn't split. Now, I could split it if I need to. I didn't with the other one. And it worked just fine. It was a little bit harder to install, but it still worked okay. There's my other ring that was cleaned up and plated. So let me get you set up here, and then I'll start getting it assembled, and we'll see what they look like when they're done. You can give me your opinions. All right, let's get to it. I have noticed the marker light is a little bit of a pain to get lined up. I actually tapered the top of my gasket here to sort of match the taper on the base. I know originally it was sat down a nice fat gasket, but I wanted to kind of sit nice and flush up in there. And so you see just a little thin black line. But it's a case of 10,000 fingers trying to hold all this together. I got new screws and a new clip in there. Being new, it fits awfully tight. Let's see if I can't just get that out of there. There we go. Get it started through the gasket and through the marker light. Now, the STL files for these gaskets I've made are available on my website. If you happen to be restoring an old REO, or I think these little headlights were also used on other trucks. I think some of the older Mack trucks. And I don't know if you can actually still get these gaskets, but these replacements I've made, they work out pretty nice. Let's get that on there. Just try and hold everything in place while I tighten it down. I think these originally had a little tab to hold them aligned, but well, mine's rusted off and gone, so let's see. Everything goes smoothly when you do it off camera. Alright, let me check this alignment here. Make sure we're looking pretty good. Get that gasket in there where I want it. Alright. That looks pretty straight. I'm going to run it down the rest of the way. While the paint is dry, I'm worried that it might still be a little soft, so I'm trying to be careful not to mar it up too badly. Everything's sat down there nicely. So there's that. Next thing is going to be to put the actual bulb in with the retainer and the gasket I made for it. Now this gasket actually sits like this on here, and this little inside piece, actually we go like this, it bends in around the bulb. Bleep! I forgot to clean the overprint off of this one. Let me pause and we'll be right back. Alright, and we're back. That's a little bit better. Now you can see the little profile I'm talking about here. So this little lip here will actually curl up and put pressure against the stem of the bulb when it's installed. So it goes like this, and we put the bulb in there. Now these are brand new screws. I ordered them. They are not the correct screws, because some people think the headlight screws, you know, it's okay to charge $30 for three, like $10 a piece. These are just plain straight thread screws. They're the same size. They're the same size used for Corvettes. The only difference you'll notice is these don't have that little section at the tip here without threads to make it easier to get started. That's all. They are number 8-32 times ½ inch. I think originally it's supposed to be 7/16, but that little bit of extra length isn't going to hurt a thing. I still have one of the original screws, so you can see what I'm talking about as far as the difference between the ends. There's one of the originals. It's got this little unthreaded spot here, and that just makes it easier when you're putting the ring on to try and get lined up at the hole. That's not going to be too big of an issue because these screws I got are just a little bit longer. And I got the dual Phillips flathead, so even if it does get a little worn out, I should still be getting these out. These old flathead ones, this one isn't too bad, but most of them, they were just so rusted there that I had to take them out with pliers. So this is one of the few left that was actually able to screw it in and out, but it's still pretty worn. I just didn't want to reuse them. So I got some new ones. Let's see if I got an example of one here. It was a little bit worse shape. Yeah, here. This is typically what you end up with. Now, I had these in this little ring when I was painting it just to keep the paint out of the threads, but you ain't gonna screw this back in and out and get it secure. It's just gonna be a nightmare. So I just got some new ones. And this big old pack of either 50 or 100 I think I got here. It's 100. Was like $10 because they're not headlight screws. So, little tricks like that to save you money. So I'm gonna get my brand new H6024 headlight out, opened up, and we'll get to put it in. We'll see what I mean here. We're gonna mount it up there like that. So let's get our gasket in place. Let me get those screws out. Just put them in there so I can keep track of them. Now the ring I repaired I ended up putting in the other one. That's okay. I didn't pay no attention. The repair worked good. All right. So you got your ring. Next goes the headlight. And then the gasket with that little rubber lip facing out. And we just got to get everything lined up. I like to get it set in place and try and get at least one screw in loosely, and then I can turn the bulb to get it the rest of the way lined up the way it's supposed to be. A little persnickety about that. I want my bulb to be completely upright so you can read the lettering. And you'll be able to see this ain't gonna be too terrible getting them started even without that little dimple because of the other extra length on them. Yeah. Right in. All right, let me see if I can get another one in here. And I'll turn the bulb to get it facing upright. It does not take a lot of tension to hold that bulb still. So by the time you get all three in, it's going to be too tight to twist it. Yeah, there's number 2 started. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can see the make here. It's a little bit off kilter. I just want to rotate it until it's nice and level and lined up with this top here. I have to turn it back so I can see it. And that looks pretty close to me. There we go. All right, I'm going to put that last screw in and get it tightened down. And I'm going to attempt to adjust these up close to where they're supposed to be as far as the horizontal and vertical alignment of the light beam. I know I'll have to do it again after it's on the truck. I want to get kind of close, at least halfway. That way I won't have to mess with it too much later on. I really can't wait to get these back on the truck. I can't wait to see them actually lit up. I was able to get one headlight to light up on high beam and one on low beam beforehand with the original bulbs. And only one of these marker lights was barely burning for a few minutes. And then it went out. So I don't think these actually need to be just torqued down really tight. I think that gasket in there fills up the space. And I think that's how that one ring got broke in the first place. I think somebody over tightened it. I think you just got to get these snug, because they do have a little bit of flex in them. But as soon as I see this little split here on this side's opening up, I know it's tight enough. That's good enough. All right, now these adjusters here. Of course, I ain't gonna be able to tell till it's on the truck, but I try to get that ring sitting flush, or at least the same depth all the way around. So at least I know they're pointed straight out. There's that one. I'll aim them up a little bit. I love the simplicity. All right, that looks close. Now let's get our ring on here. Now these actually fit a little bit tighter now that I've cleaned them up and fixed them up. Get that tab lined up in that slot. Oh, let me a little towel under here so I can flip it over. I'll see if I can just press this on there. She's got to go on even or she won't go on. She might need some persuasion. It's right on the cusp of going on. Yeah, let me get a little neoprene hammer. See if I can't just give a little love. All right. There she goes. Boom. She's on there. All the way around. Bolt holes lined up. Let's stick a screw in there. If I can find a hole. It's right there. Alright, now I decided to go with the hex heads on this down here because they are a bit of pain in the neck to take off when you need to. Alright, so that's the second light assembled. Let me bring these up and give them a little quick wipe down and I'll show them off and you can tell me what you think. Alright y'all, there they are. Finally finished with them. What y'all think? See if I can show some pictures of what we started with a few weeks ago. Can't wait to get them back on the truck. See them lit up.